Have you ever woken up one day to your eBay account just being banned out of nowhere? I see this happen all the time in the Facebook groups, the free public Facebook groups out there on Dropshipping, where people are saying, oh, I woke up one day, eBay says I'm permanently banned on the platform, I can never sell again. Please don't contact us. This is a final decision. Don't talk to us ever again. I see this happen all the time, and if this has happened to you, please post a comment down below, because I do want to know how many people this has affected. But I do want to tell you guys that there may be hope, because in the 2019 fall seller update, eBay does talk about how they are going to change this and help us out as sellers. There's also a lot of other updates that have happened or are going to happen that were talked about in the 2009 fall seller update that I read and created this video for you guys so that you don't have to read it, and I broke it down to its biggest, most important parts so you don't have to waste your time reading the unimportant minutia of the actual update. There is a lot inside of there. So how's it going, everybody? I'm eCom Tom, if you don't know already. And this video is going to be about the fall seller update. There is one every single quarter, and this one is fall 2019. So I do one every single quarter. I break it down for you guys, make it as easy to understand as possible. And yeah, so before we get into it, please be sure to like this video if you haven't already, and please be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and when you do so, hit the bell notification so you can be updated about videos like this. Any single sort of video that I come out with, you will be updated every single time, and I know you guys don't want to miss it. So, no more talking, let's get straight into it. I made a PowerPoint for you guys, and I'll see you inside my computer. So before we get started, please do not forget to subscribe, and when you do subscribe, please hit that bell notification button. It's the only way you will actually get notified of every single time I post a video. And also, as always, please be sure to smash that like button to get this video out to as many people. This is a pretty important update. Every single quarter, eBay does come out with one, and this one's pretty important, I would say. So my main question that I have for you guys, you can pause the video, leave a comment down below in the comment section, is have you read the eBay fall seller update yet? They do send it out to everybody that has an account. They email it to you and they message it to you. It's very important to stay on top of this if you do plan on taking eBay extremely seriously, because this is where you learn everything that's changing throughout every single quarter. So there's 4 different categories of the change, and I did show you that in the earlier part of this video. So the first part is the marketplace updates, and this one has, some pretty cool updates inside of it. So there's a new managed payment features. I have yet to move over to managed payments, and if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much eBay's way of kicking PayPal out of the game and saying that we no longer need you, we're going to do it on our own. Just the same way that Amazon does their own payment systems. They disperse it to you over time, and they hold on to your money for 2 weeks. eBay's doing the same thing now, and they did come out with new payment options. So they did integrate PayPal back into their managed payments. A bunch of different ways to pay through PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay. There's a bunch of different pays out there. They're trying to integrate everything into it, so your customer has a lot more options to pay and buy their products. Right now, if you don't have managed payments, people will only be buying your stuff through PayPal, which they can then connect a credit card to. But all like the Apple Pays and stuff like that, which I'm not sure how popular it actually is, isn't actually being used. There's also new refund options where you can do a partial refund. I'm about to do a video on this where, if you do a partial refund through PayPal, the eBay doesn't really track it, and you have to go hunt down your money. It's a pain. It's a huge pain. So hopefully this does help in the future when everybody does move over to managed payments. Other than that, there's the multi-user account access, which I think is pretty awesome, but right now it's very rudimentary, and there's really not much functionality behind it. And this is for people that have virtual assistants. Virtual assistants are other workers that are working on their accounts, and they don't want to give them full access to their account. Amazon has had this forever. There's a bajillion different things you can turn on or turn off for your virtual assistants or workers inside of your account, or just about any program that wants to edit it. And it really gives you functionality over what people are doing inside of your account, and to really give you privacy protection. And they did open this up, but it is in beta mode right now for people in the United States. People in the UK, I think it was rolled out to first. And right now, all you have to do is just give them their first name, last name, email. But all you can do for permissions is create and edit drafts and publish and revise listings. It's really not that big of a thing where, some people might want an order fulfillment virtual assistant where, they only have access to your orders. There's only 2 things here right now: create and edit drafts and publish and revise listings. Personally, I haven't started using it yet because I think it's kind of useless, and my VAs have already had access to my accounts. But as this, kind of grows over time, I do think that, there's going to be a great opportunity for people that have VAs that really want the security on their account to be protected. So secondly, there's the growth tools, and that's just any way to, grow and get more sales on your account with promoted listings, other types of options like that. More functions to sending offers. I don't ever really send offers. I do think that there is a technique behind it, but I've never really wasted my time doing so. But if you do allow offers on your items or people to give you offers or send you offers, I just feel like it's very abusive. People will just lowball you and send you awful offers, and you're really just sitting there frustrated. You can now send offers to people that have added the items to their cart but haven't checked out. I think it's once it's in there for like 5 days, then you can send them an offer and you can see who has it in your cart or something like that. And there's also the counter offer feature, which means if you sent them an offer and then they send you an offer, you can then counter offer with something maybe a bit higher or something a bit more advantageous in your direction and hopefully try to persuade a sale out of it. Honestly, I don't think it's that important. It's kind of a smaller update, but it is kind of cool. And another bigger update I would say is the promoted listings update. So in my last video I did actually, I can link it up above. It's about promoted listings, and promoted listings used to be, if you promote your listing at a certain percentage, your listing will show up twice in search. So twice in search meaning it will show up saying sponsored above it, which I'll show on the next slide, and it will also just show up regularly without sponsored above it. The one that's sponsored is obviously the promoted listing, and then other than that, the other one's the unsponsored, unpromoted listing. They're removing the duplicate of sponsored and unsponsored listings. So if your listing is sponsored, it's only going to show up once. It won't show up as unsponsored in the search results, which I think is kind of a pain because it's not going to give you as much exposure. And they kind of word it real weirdly here, and I know some of it's cut off by my face, by saying increased visibility for promoted listings in search results. And it says, in our ongoing effort to optimize the visibility of promoted listing placements, we're shifting to a mix of promoted and non-promoted listings at the top of the search results, which really makes no sense because I believe that's what they already were doing. It says now a mixture of promoted and non-promoted listings will be eligible to appear in the top search rankings, which is exactly what they just said in the last sentence. And it says this is designed to balance visibility for both promoted and organic listings. Promoted and organic non-promoted listings, depending on the relevance to a buyer's search and quality of the seller's listing. So honestly, it's pretty much, in the way I took that is that they're trying to sugarcoat it and make it sound like they're giving you something good or better, but it doesn't seem like they're actually making promoted listings in any way, shape, or form better. But they're going to try to make you seem like it is or make you feel like it is by wording it by saying increased visibility. But if you're sharing the top with sponsored and unsponsored listings, and they're also removing the duplicate of your sponsored and unsponsored listing, then it makes it seem like your promoted listing might actually get less, traction overall, but who knows? They might just change their algorithm or something later on down the line. I believe this is supposed to happen sometime in October, but don't quote me on that. You can read the link, the whole entire seller update. It's in the link in the description below. So if you see, if you didn't know what I was talking about, I just searched Mainstays, which is the private label brand by Walmart. A lot of people sell this brand. A lot of people drop ship it on eBay. And I just typed it in. The first, in my search results, personal search results, the first one wasn't sponsored, you can tell. The second one was sponsored. So the top of the search actually was an unsponsored, not promoted listing. Probably because it has good SEO. It has the 18 plus sold, free returns, everything like that. Second one was sponsored. But then if you search the actual title over here of this item, the item shows up again at the top of the search, but this time it shows up as sponsored. So this is the promoted listing, and then below it is the unpromoted listing of somebody else's listing. So I think they have already kind of implemented it, but it's only time will tell how much it actually affects your sales or anything like that. So thirdly, there's inventory optimization, and there is some pretty big updates right here. So in the inventory optimization section, there's category changes by like October 15th. They're changing around some of the categories to better fit your items. All you have to do is just pay attention to if there is any like notifications on your dashboard, because of the fact that eBay is, they're going to tell you if your items aren't compliant. And then it's just moving around like the business and industrial, home and garden, some other sections like that might just have some new subsections. And they said it's to help increase search visibility with market standards of, subjects, titles, or whatever. So, I mean, that's really not that big of a change. But the biggest change here is the item specifics change. So if you guys have been listing manually, if you do use, any sort of API-related listing software, you will realize that if you're listing manually, there's the ability to add your own item specifics, and that's really what I think is going to help you get your items and like distinctify your items from other people's. So if you add more item specifics, the brand, the color, the type of material, also the sizes, the lengths, widths, heights, the weight of it, everything like that, That's going to help people find your item a lot easier. There's always the search bar over on the left side of anything Amazon, eBay, anything like that, where it's like, oh, this brand, this color, this price range, things like that. And that's going to help somebody find your item a lot easier. And beforehand, item specifics were not mandatory, besides, I believe, a UPC, but you could just say that UPC isn't, it doesn't matter. So now there is required item specifics and also recommended item specifics. So if it's required, then you're going to have to fill it out, but it's going to help people find your items a lot easier. And then recommended, it's pretty cool. I'll show you in the next slide that it kind of shows you that if you fill out these recommended item specifics, then there's a certain amount of people every month or so that are actually searching for this specific term or these specific actual item specifics. So one thing that they did actually allude to was, they know people are using third-party listing software. Not every third-party listing software is breaking the terms of service, but they said if you're using listing software, make sure that it is in compliance with the new required and recommended item specifics. And that's why I highly suggest listing your items manually by hand or have your VAs do it, because then you won't have to worry if your software is up to date or if your software is screwing up, not giving you these required or putting in these required or recommended item specifics, because they did say that your item won't even show up in search if you don't. So, I mean, you really want to hedge yourself and make sure that your items are showing up in search and you are filling out the required and even the recommended item specifics. So I think this is a pretty huge change, and if you are over there trying to take the easy way out and always use these automated softwares or any type of software out there, there's still non-API related versions to do this same thing, then you're going to end up probably hurting yourself in the long run because of the fact that, eBay is changing and making sure that your software is up to date with eBay's changes. So as I said, right here, these are, as you're filling out or creating a new listing, this is the required item specifics. All the required is just the brand. You can even say unbranded. So it's really not that big of a deal as long as your software or you actually fill it out by hand. But then it says recommended. I know my mouse is right here, but it says buyers frequently search for these item specifics. And then it says add as many details as you can. 40.7 thousand recent searches for these details. So compatibility, and whatever manufacturer's product number, expiration date, food specifications, dairy-free, egg-free, all sorts of things like that. Just for people that are searching for extra things, they'll be able to find it. There's even a little eye right here next to all of them, so you can hover over it, see the information. If there's any information that you don't understand, you can fill it out, calories per serving, anything like that. It's going to help people find your item, and it's going to help your item stick out in search no matter what. So I highly suggest filling out as many item specifics as possible. So the last but not least, this is the huge one. This is the one that I alluded to in the beginning of the video. And first off, I'll get to it at the last bullet point here, but it says top rated sellers return update. So if you are a top rated seller, and I am going to come out with a video pretty soon on how to stay top rated and the difference between top rated and top rated plus, because there's a large difference, and I feel like there's a lot of confusion in the community regarding that. So if you are a top rated seller and somebody gives you a return, and the return is, not actually what they say it is. So I've always had a lot of issues with this. If I want to go on Amazon and get an item returned for free, a free return label, I'll just say the item was defective, even if the item was perfectly fine. So a lot of buyers will do that to you on eBay, where, if the item, they'll even be messaging you like, oh, I just don't want the item anymore. And then you go, well, you're going to have to pay for the return or whatever. And then they just they open up a return case saying item was broken or defective. You then have proof to show eBay, hey, this person's lying. This is, a faulty return case. You still have to go through and actually do the return case that way. But you can actually charge up to a 50% restocking fee now, and that's if the item is damaged and not in the condition that they actually said it was going to be, or in perfect condition when it gets back to you. But they'll also cover you in items not received. No, I didn't mean to say items not received here, but in things where people are lying about it, saying, this is damaged, this is broken, but in reality they're just lying about, what it actually is. So they'll cover you on the postage and other things like that. I think that's a pretty big update, and it's really helping out sellers as long as you're top rated and you are, staying at above a good threshold, and you have just good selling history with eBay, which is really what you want to strive for in order to keep your account around for as long as possible. One other big update is you must offer 30-day returns now. So there is no returns. That is still a thing. But there used to be, I believe, 7 or at least 14. I know there's 14, 30, and 60. 14's gone now. You must offer 30-day returns minimum. It's really not that big of a deal. It's going to help you out, just get more buyers buying from you in the long run. And they're trying to make it a more retail-like experience. And last but not least, there's the hide all listings function. And this is huge for anybody that's dropshipping or anybody that, is an international. This happens a lot to people, or anybody that just messes up or screws up at all. So I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching this, or some of you guys that are watching this, have, received a message from eBay saying MC011 restriction, yada, 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 all of this stuff where you got banned permanently. You can no longer, your selling practices aren't allowed on our platform. We don't want you anymore. Instead of just banning you outright and not telling you anything, and they even say it in their update, they say previously this is exactly what we did, basically just ban you and not tell you why. They're going to do this thing called hide all listings, where they take all of your listings down, they hide them in search, but they then tell you exactly what is wrong with what you were doing, why you got in trouble, and how to actually get unbanned. So I think that's going to help you a lot, because anybody out there that just gets hit with some of these restrictions, they're left in the dark and they have no idea what to do. Either they create a new account, they go stealth, they try to piece their way through it, and like 4 weeks later they somehow get their account back. It's really not very transparent, and I do believe they're trying to help out and become a more seller-centric platform than all the other platforms out there, to try to stick out and bring a lot more sellers to their platform that really want the seller protections that I believe every seller should have. So even if you are breaking the rules, they should at least tell you what you're doing wrong and why you're doing it, or why they did what they did to you, and how to fix it and what to do better in the future. So I think that's a huge update. I know I've seen it a lot in the Facebook groups, and yes, I do believe a lot of it is because of negligence, but a lot of it could just be people, signing in with different IPs, they're from a different country, all sorts of different things like that, that could play a role in it that, you really might not have been at fault to begin with in the first place. So eBay's really trying to help out. I hope it's as good as they made it sound, and you can check it out in the seller protection section of the actual seller update as well. But it did sound pretty promising to me. So the most notable updates in this list, as I said, the hide all listings function I think is the #1 most notable update out there. The sponsored listings update is pretty big. They're getting rid of the sponsored and unsponsored listing. You don't have a duplicate anymore. You only have one. I'm not sure how much that's going to affect it. Maybe they're going to push sponsored listings a lot more, because they're probably hurting for money, because Amazon's definitely destroying eBay. But they need as much money as possible. The item specifics update is huge. If you're using a third-party listing software, make sure that it's updated to this change. And, right away they might not be updated because they don't know what to update to. So just be sure to be weary of that. There's also the multi-user accounts. That's going to be pretty big in the future when it actually is, fully rolled out and not in beta form anymore. You can have your VA access and everything like that. And also, are there any questions? Do you guys have any questions about maybe something I said during the video, maybe something that you read during the seller update and you just didn't understand? Post your comments and questions below. I'll be sure to answer every single one of them. And I appreciate any type of support that you guys can leave me in the comment section below. It really helps build the channel, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. So in conclusion, I meant to delete this one line here, but in conclusion, please post your comments below. I will answer every single one. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. No question is a stupid question. Only ones that you did not ask. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And when you do, hit the little bell notification button. You will be alerted of every single video that I come out with, whether it's an update, whether it's anything like that, a success video, a stat, anything. So, like I said, be sure to hit the bell notification button. If you did like this video, please smash the like button. And like I said, if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for sticking around this long. One thing I never really plug is we do have a free mini course on eBay dropshipping. If you have made it this far in the video, then you probably are rather dedicated to becoming successful in eBay dropshipping. Check out the free eBay dropshipping mini course in the description below. I'm sure you guys will find some value in it. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next video.